This conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, good evening. This is Suresh here.
Good evening, Suresh.
Yeah, good evening guys. Good evening one and all. Okay, so guys, in our session day before yesterday, we have been looking into the way we can load some users into the SuccessFactors system. It's not an employee, it's when we call it as a user who just have to have some login into the SuccessFactors system to run some talent solutions. So we don't have those users complete employment record in SuccessFactors. Just with a mini master data, how do we create the record? How do we upload them? Is what we have been looking at. I'll quickly give you a high level recap of those things. And in our agenda today, we'll be looking into the permissioning model for that users, whatever employees, users that are coming into the system. So what extent of access you want to give as a general employee or a manager or as a HR, HOD, the different access levels if we are required to create. So how the permissioning model in SuccessFactors basically functions is what we are now going to be looking at. Okay. So before all that, let me just take some introductions from few people who haven't taken previously, guys. Just a few minutes. Mr. Naveen. Hi, Naveen. I just need a 2-line intro from you. Like, what's your current experience and expertise into?
Yeah, hi Suresh. I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible, Naveen. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Suresh, I'm currently into US IT recruitment. I'm currently working with them from almost 6 years.
Okay, US IT recruitment from almost 6 years. Okay. Thank you, Naveen. And Mr. Prashant. Hi, Prashant. Your device on mute. Okay, Prashant, if you have any issue with your audio, drop your intro in the chat. Oh, sorry.
No.
Yeah, Prashant.
Hi, Suresh. Good evening.
Please go ahead, Prashant. Good evening.
Yeah.
Prashant, am I audible?
Introduction. Suresh, actually, I'm working for Synopsys as a team lead, Linux background. I'm the admin. Okay, actually, I want to looking for other domain. Actually, that's the reason I came for SAP. Okay, so
Prashant, your voice is breaking actually.
Present market is good. That's the reason. So if you
Prashant, your voice is breaking actually. Okay, Prashant, I just got that you are from a different domain. You are now looking into SuccessFactors. That's fine, but rest is something I'm not able to hear you properly. Your audio is breaking. Just look at your audio connectivity once. Okay. Thanks for that intro, Prashant. And then we have. Do we have Shilpa? Shilpa, we don't have. Nitin, Indraja. Okay, they were not there as of now. Okay, fine, guys. So let's get into the normal agenda. So Naveen and Prashant, I got your introductions, guys. I understand one of you are from the US IT recruitment, one of you are complete from the full stack one. So you're in a complete different domain and now looking into SuccessFactors. That's great. Thank you. So now the permissioning. Yeah, let me first recap the previous topic, guys. So to upload some basic users into the SuccessFactors system, here under admin center is a place where we have actually use that options of importing the users into the system, where in this admin center under the second block name in the name of manage employees, you have update user information. In this import employee data is the option that we used to load some users into the SuccessFactors system, and the file format in which we are required to prepare the file is what we get it when we use this employee export option, where under employee export, when we go under this, we will get the option to download the existing complete user file. That might be the active users, inactive users, entire file. Using the second button called export user file, the existing users will be completely downloaded. In that, if you want to make any updates for the existing users, or if you want to add some new users into the system, all that you can do in a file which will be downloaded, which will be called as the mini master data file or the basic import file. So the one that I'm showing, this is the one that we saw in our last session. So this kind of a file with all the mini master data columns, in which column A2, column HR related column M are what we have discussed as important to be maintained. After this, in between, rest of the other columns are non-mandatory. You need not fill it, or even if you have the data, you can fill it. Among them, the other thing that you are required to concentrate is default login, which is the default language in which the user should be logging in for the first time when they log in for the first time. So that is what the default language code we maintain. And at last, again, you will have an assignment ID as a code, in which here also you are required to give the same employee code or the user ID what we maintain here in column B. So this is what the way how we are required to maintain some entries with all these columns, and you can upload the file back into the system under the same import employee data option that I shown you under the admin center. So here in this export user file, you are able to download the entire file with the existing employee data. Whereas if you click on export template, only the file format with the columns, with the top first and second rows of columns only will be coming. From the third row, it will be blank. Whichever users you want to load, only that you can load if you use this export template as an option. Okay, and then to upload the file back into the system, finally, here under update user information, we have this import employee data as an option. From this import employee data, we select the very first one, the basic import. Here in this, we select the very first one called the basic import, and we upload the data into the system, guys, that mini master data file. So this file, we have three different terminologies we call. Either we call it as UDF file, user directory file, or basic import file, or simply also called as mini master data file. And that file is in a format called .csv, guys. It's a .csv file. If you see the file format on the top on my header, it's .csv. So we don't have Excel files in SuccessFactors supported. Either it is Employee Central or any other module. Any data files, any data uploads in SuccessFactors will happen only through .csv format. That's a comma separated values. Sorry for the disturbance, guys. Okay, so the file, guys, please mute yourself. There are some background noise coming in. Okay, so the upload files that might be Employee Central or recruitment or performance module, any module, when we are performing some data loads into SuccessFactors, it will be .csv format, guys. That's an important point to be remembering. So SuccessFactors doesn't support any other file formats. It will be accepting only .csv, which is a comma separated value. Okay, comma separated value is the file format we see. Just a moment. Yeah, sorry for the pause, guys. There's some technical issue. Okay, so that is what. So this is a file format that we fill with the data and we upload it back into the system in a .csv format, which is the only file format supported here under import employee data. Choosing the very first one called basic import, we select the file and we load. We click on the import on the right hand bottom corner and we can get that file loaded, where within just 2-3 minutes, the users what you newly loaded in that file will be created in the system. So this is what the process that we saw in our last session on day before yesterday. And in our session today, I'll be starting now with the permissioning model. So before getting into that, does anybody have any specific questions on this last topic of users import? We already discussed plenty of questions last session, but if still anybody has, we can close it now.
I have a question, but not related to last.
Yeah, Poonam, please go ahead.
Okay, regarding the class which will be starting from today onwards, I mean, today we are going to start with the permissioning, right? So is this
Yeah,
related
exactly.
to EC certification, or this is into the intro to mastery part?
So permission is something not specific to only one module, it's specific to all the modules. So employee central module level also we have some permissions that comes in, but as of now we haven't started employee central specific, it's all generalized. So what you learn now will also have a difference at a later point, then the questions will come in. Here it's not about questions. Okay. I guess there is a new participant. Hi Indraja, good evening. I guess you are joined just now. Can I have your
Yeah.
intro, Indraja? I just need 2 lines introduction about you, Indraja. Like what's your expertise into?
Hi, good evening to all. Myself Indraja. I had 3 years of experience into HR recruiter. That's it.
Okay, 3 years into HR recruiting. Great.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Indraja. So we have just started with the today's agenda. We are going to now looking into the success factors permissioning model. Okay. If you have any questions regarding any of the previous contents or today, you can keep asking us. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Hello.
Okay. So guys,
Yeah, Suresh, hi. I have one doubt to ask you. It is not related to the class. I got yesterday system essays, and on my home page, there is showing line switch back to next gen admin center.
okay, I'll just clarify that, guys. I'll just show you that. So in
Actually, I
all,
just need to know the meaning of
whenever you
that
log
one.
in, Roshni, let me just clarify this. I'll get back to that question. To first answer this. Okay. So guys, in all the IDs, so yesterday we have provided the system access to all of you. So when you log in and when you navigate into this admin center, you guys might not be seeing this screen. You might be seeing another screen, which I'll show you now. So this kind of a view might be seen in your system when you go to the admin center. You might not understand this. So whenever you see this, if you scroll to the extreme bottom, guys, complete bottom of the screen, here at the very bottom, you have this switch back to one admin. On the left hand bottom, if you see here, you have switch back to one admin as an option at the very bottom of the page. Okay, so this switch back to one admin is what you are required to click. When you click on it, system brings you back to the normal view what I am showing it. So this view will be getting it. So at the bottom of the page on the left hand bottom, you will have it. Okay, I'll try to set it as default for all of you guys. But in the meanwhile, if anybody is facing any issue, you can just scroll to the bottom of the page. On the left hand bottom, you will have switch back to one admin as an hyperlink. You just have to click it. It will bring you back to this normal UI. Okay. And yeah, Roshni, your other queries, please.
No, only just this thing only, Suresh. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Fine, guys, can I get started? No more questions? Okay, then great. So now in regard to success factors permissioning model, guys, so this is the one. So I can say this is the architecture kind of outline of success factors permissioning, where we have a role and a group. We have the role concept of roles and groups in success factors permissioning. A role is the one which will contain a set of permissions in it. Say a HR role, a manager role, a admin role. Like this, we will create different roles. So in every role, we have a set of permissions. So what all activities and authorizations that this person is going to have, or what all activities he can perform, all that will be in a part of the role. So in a HR role, what all HR can do, in a manager role, in an employee role, what manager and employee can do respectively, all that permissions will be selected. So permissions is all about a checkbox. So you will have hundreds of things in the system. What all you can do, all that checkboxes are to be selected. So that is a role. Whereas apart from that role, on the left and right hand side, these yellow colored circles, what you see are called as groups. granted users as a group, target users as a one more group. So what does this mean is, so the role what you create, to whom you are granting this role, say there are 1,000 employees in this company, so this particular role, some XYZ role, whatever you create, to whom you are assigning it is what the granted group is. On the left hand side, granted users, you are giving it to 100 people in the company, or 250 people, or all the 1,000 people you are giving that role is what the granted group is. On the right hand side, you have something called as target users. That's another group, target group. So on whom these granted users can enjoy those permissions or perform those permissions is what the target users basically is. That is, in a company of 1,000 employees, if there are say 40 HRs, so granted users are the HRs. If I say, if I'm creating this role as a HR role and I wanted to give it to all the HRs in the company, so granted users as a group I'll keep, and I'll maintain all the 40 HRs in that group. So this role is assigned to that group, so all the 40 people in that group will have that permission access. Then on the right hand side is where all the 1,000 employees of the company will be there, where this 40 HRs can perform any data transactions on all the 1,000 employees of the company. That is a target population. Say if HR is getting the permissions to do promotions, transfers, salary corrections, anything. So all these permissions what the HRs are getting, these 40 HRs on the left hand side, granted group, what all permissions they are getting through this role, they can perform all that permissions on the target population which are on the right hand side, that is the employees. Or else, say example, if it's a project of 3 countries, you have India, US and Australia. Company employees are present in India, US and Australia. Then you want to create a HR role where you will give it to only US HRs and the target population will be only US employees. Same rule, I can also, the same role, I can even give it to India HRs with their target population as only India employees. So Indian HR can touch only Indian employee records, US HR can touch only US employee records, like that. So to whom I want to give on whom they can perform those transactions is what you can have, the granting group and the target group. Okay, so SuccessFactors permissioning model works on these 2 things, the roles and the groups. So as I told you, the role is the one that will define the complete permissioning with respect to access to any data in the system or access to any functionalities in the system. Can you see this data? Can you edit this data? Can you read this data? Can you perform this functionality? All that is defined through the role. And on the left hand side is what the group you have, the granted group, to whom all you are going to assign this role. And on the right hand side is the target users, on whom all these granted users can perform these roles. If a person has got this permission, on whom he can perform this permission is the target group. And of course, the complete permissioning model in SuccessFactors will be dynamic in nature, guys. Dynamic is normally if whoever are having some IT background, so in any of the products, if you have seen, whenever there is a new employee joining in, whatever is the software that the company is using, in that these users have to be given some permission rights. So these are the permissions for you, these are the permissions for you, kind of, you are required to assign, the administrator has to assign. But in SuccessFactors, it's all pre-configured and it's automatically driven in the system. When anybody joins in a company, a basic employee role is given to everyone. And if he is assigned as a manager to somebody, he's having at least minimum 1 subordinate under him, automatically system will give him all the manager privileges. And if he is maintained as a HR for anybody, if I am maintained as a HR for some employee, automatically I will get all the HR related authorizations. So like that, system will drive automation here, the permissioning. Every time when a new employee joined in, this administrator or somebody need not involve for every case, until and unless there is something additionally we are required to give apart from a normal employee, normal HR, normal manager. Additionally, you are required to give anything for that person, then only administrator has to explicitly come in. Apart from that, all the permissioning will be automatically driven. So that is what you will see in an example in the next 5 minutes when I configure in the system. So this is the high level model of permissioning. So this thing will practically configure it in the system and I'll show you how it works. So in that regard, we shall take this example. Here at the bottom on my screen, you see where there is a HR role. It's being given to US HRs, the granted users, and they can have their access on the target users on the right hand side, that is US employees. Granted users are US HRs and the target users are the US employees. That's an example. So taking this as an example, let us see how can we have the permissioning and success factors done. Okay, just give me a moment. I'll just log in into the success factor system. Yeah, so here in the SF system, we have in the admin center under the second block called as manage employees, you have this set user permissions. Manage employees, the third one called set user permissions, a section where we can work on the permissioning. And here you have the first two items, permission groups and permission roles. So these are the things that we are required to work on. So first is what we are required to create a permission groups and then the roles. So for completing the permissioning model, both are required, but first it's every time recommended to create the groups and then go into the roles. So now if I go for this manage permission groups, so this is a place where if there are any groups already existing in the system, if there are any groups created like HRs as a group, admins as a group, any groups that are created, that will be present here. Where when you do a fresh customer implementation, a new customer implementation, you will not have anything here. It will be completely blank. Right from the scratch, we are required to build the permissioning model. So we don't have any standard success factors or roles or groups given. For the people of SAP HCM background, you normally refer like there are standard employee roles, manager roles and all, but in SF nothing. It's completely blank. We are required to create it from the scratch with what all authorizations a company is expecting to which roles they want to have. Okay, so this is how the permissioning page, manage permission groups as a page looks like, in which the existing groups are appearing, but whereas in real time you don't have all this. So you have to start creating a new group by clicking on create new group as a button. So in this here, this is how a group creation window looks like. A pop-up comes here. You are required to start giving a group name. So I just want to give it as US HRs as a group. That's a granting group. Grant US HRs. Today is Feb 18th. Yes. With this name, I'm just giving it granting US HRs Feb 18th. So all the US HRs I want to have in this group. So when I say that grouping should be done, it's not that we are required to manually add the people one by one. So that is a tedious job, adding one by one. So without that, we can filter out of the 1,000 employees in the company, who are the HRs who belong to US. I want US HRs. I don't want Indian HRs. I don't want Australian in the Australia HRs. I just want the US HRs. So in that case, here we have the filters by which we can actually filter for the people. We have multiple filter fields through which you can filter the entire population in the company. In that, we have one specific category of fields, job information category of fields. So the employees company, that is whether they belong to Bestron, say example, if the company name is Bestron India company or Bestron US or Bestron Australia, that is a company. And here Bestron, the company's department, employee belongs to which department, which division, which location, what is his pay grade, like this different filter fields you have. So I want to now filter the people who are belonging to the US business, Bestron US as a company, for the who are working in the US business, the US HRs. So here the company, here it says Bestron US, or else here also you can go for the company's country. So there, say example, Coca-Cola is a company. So the company's country, Coca-Cola India is in India, Coca-Cola US is in US. So that is where we have this filter, company country. Job information, company's country, which is the company's country as United States. If I find, I can just search with United States. So now system here can bring me all the people in this company who are with US, who are working for the US business. It shows that there are 248 employees. In this current test system, SF has given us a sample of around 1200 plus employees test data, 1200 plus. In that, almost 248 users, it's of US business. They are hired under the US company in this demo system, practice system. That is what it shows. If you click on this 248, who are those people who are in different locations of US, they have the list displayed here, all the 248 people. Their first name, their middle name, last name, what job they are doing in the company, and in which location they are in the US. All the US locations are listed like this. So at a time, you did not add them. There are 248 US people. My requirement is not US employees, US HRs. Total US employees is 248. Specifically, HRs among them will be very less. So you can add one more category. This time here you can choose among the various filters. You have job classification. Employees who are having a job nature of HR. So job classification is what we have. In that, if you search for some HR professionals in the company, HR professional, if I search for, so now if you filter it again, if you just click on the update icon here under active group membership, system will reduce it to only 46. So out of 248 US employees, 46 are HRs. The remaining 202 are non-HR. They might belong to IT department, finance department, sales, procurement, marketing, any department they might belong to. So these 46 are the people who are specifically belonging to the HR related, who are carrying out the HR jobs in the company, HR professionals. US country, HR professionals. They are 46, system automatically filtered. This is the first group, the granting group. So the role that we are now going to create, this has to be assigned to this 46 users. Okay, so now if I scroll down at the bottom, if I click on this finish, the user group creation is done. So that is how we basically make use of these various filters that SF has given. So SF has given filters to filter the people based on their city, their country, their citizenship, and going down based on their date of birth, the department in location in which they are working, gender, like this various parameters you have. So among all, using all these various kinds of parameters, you can filter your required people. Okay, now if I click on finish, the system will create this group, and the latest created group will appear on the top like this. Granted US HRs Feb 16. This is a latest group that appears on the top like this. Okay, and now for our example, it's not just one group, we need two groups. US HRs is one group, US employees is one more group. So for that, here we can just click on one more, click on create new once again. One more group can be created. This time it's the target group. Target US employees. Today's date I'll keep it as Feb 18th. So target US employees. This is a target group. So again, now if it is US employees, among these filters, same like last time, who are working for the US businesses I want to know. So the employees, company, and the company's country. So the employees company is that company belonging in USA is what my filter is, United States. Like this. So with this, if I search for, I get 248 employees, which are all the US employees. This is the simplest way I create a group. So 248 US employees. Those 46 HRs are going to have the access to the 248 US employees. This is a straightforward way. But customers can come up with a scenario that, yes, of course, US HRs can have access to US employees, but non-HR employees. None of the HR employee should touch another HR employee record. Okay, so in this 248, these 46 HR also are there, but I don't want to give the rights on that 46 HRs. So from 248, exclude that 46 HRs is what the customer says. So any HR employee can touch any other department employee record, but not an HR record, another HR employee record. In that case, not only to have the people added into the group, you also have an option at the bottom to exclude the people from the group also. That is, even for excluding, you have a similar set of all the filter options. This time here, the filter with which we are able to get that the HR specifically in the previous example. So select the same job classification and HR professionals if I search for. So from this 248 HR professionals, if they are excluding, so 46 are the HR professionals we know. If I click on update, system will bring it down to 202. So one group is US HRs, other group is non-HR US employees. Apart from HRs, all the other employees. So that is 201. So this
Suresh,
way
I have
we
a
can have
question.
the options. One second. So this way we can have the options to both include the people into the group or even to exclude the people into the group. We have both the options. On the top, the first option is to include the people, and the second option is to exclude the people in from the groups. Okay. Yeah, please.
In case the requirement is that, let's say I am an HR and I should not be able to touch my own data. Besides this, I can touch the data of any employee. So how can I exclude? I mean, self should be included.
Yeah, that is also a default option SF has given. We'll see that when we are linking the groups and the roles in the next step, their sister SF will give you that option. I'll even show you that. Okay. So now, as of now, it's a groups creation level. So 2 individual groups is what we have created. The US HRs and the US employees is the 2 groups that you have created. So click on finish. So even this is the latest group that will appear on the top here. The recently created group will every time appear on the top. So granted users HR, granted US employees. First one is granted US HR. Second one is target US employees. 2 groups are ready with 46 and 202. Now with this, the group creation part will be done. Next is the role part. That is creation of a HR role with what all permissions you are planning to assign to the HR in this company, all that we can give it. Where for role creation, guys, just go for this employee admin center once again. Okay. So here in this admin center, guys, under set user permissions, you have the second one called manage permission roles. Using this permission roles, we'll be able to create a roles. So when you click on permission roles, even here, initially in a new customer system, when you are configuring, you will have nothing. It will be 0 roles. We are required to create everything. In this demo system, there are already few roles that are already given. So if we are required to create a new role, you just have to click on this create new and start the process. Just click on create new. When the role creation interface opens up, it's of basically 3 parts on the screen. This is a way it's of 3 parts.
Can you show where you went again, please? Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, I'm just going back. So here under second part, under set user permissions, the same part where we are working on the groups, just below that you have the roles, manage permission roles. You just have to click on this permission roles, and then it brings you to this page where the roles can be initiated. So these are the standard SuccessFactors pre-delivered roles in the system, where in a customer system you will not have anything. We are required to start creating the new roles. So here, if you just click on this create new button, system will start showing you a screen where you can start creating a new role. So the new role creation screen will be of 3 sections. The first part is to start giving the name of a role, first part. Second one is the main part where we select all the permissions in this HR role, what all permissions you want to give. If you just click on this permission button, you can start that process. And finally, this role what we created, to whom we want to grant it. So this, as you see in this slide, so once the role is ready, to whom you wanted to grant it and on whom they can perform that permissions, that group's assignment to a role is to be done in the last part called granting of this role. So once the role is created, to whom you want to grant it is also here itself. That way it's a 3-step process. So now let me just create the HR role here. Okay, I'm just creating it as HR role, and description, it's not mandatory. If you want to describe something about this role, you can write it. And then if you click on permission as a button, guys, so here a pop-up comes where the permissions of each and every module are well segregated. So calibration as a tool, you have the permissions. Objectives is for the goals module, performance module, career development planning, continuous performance as part of performance module, succession planning, learning management, employee central related, going down, recruiting related, reporting related in the system, all the reports, how the reports can be handled, like that. For various things, all the permissions are well segregated. module wise they are segregated. And you have again other one more kind of segregation, user level permissions and administrator level of permissions, user and administrators. So that is anything access to the configurations in the system is under administrator side, configuration side. So if you want to handle the calibration configuration, or goals module configuration, career development module configuration, like that, any module specific configurations, module wise you have the configuration of permissions under administrator side. User side, it's all about the employees of the company. So even the general employee, manager, HR, HOD, even a CEO is a user in the company end of the day. Set of permissions what a general employee will have, what a HR will have, what a HOD will have will be differed, but end of the day all these are users, right from CEO till the bottom level worker, everybody is a user in the system. So permissions that you want to give to all these people, you will be selecting from this user category. Who is the one that is working on some configurations, that is in the stage of implementation, we as a consultants, and after the go live of the project, some nominated administrators will be there from every company. For recruitment module, one process owner, for performance module, one process owner, like that. Company will nominate somebody internally in the company to run their system, to manage, run the system and help the employees in the company to whenever they have any issues and all. In the company level, they will have some nominated administrators. So those administrators and we as a consultants only will have any permissions on the administrator side of the things. So for employee role, manager role, HR role, anything, user level permissions are what we assign. Under this user level, you have module level permissions breakdown. So any module you select, so in that module, the different permissions, different tools, different functionalities relevant, I mean, different tools and functionalities related, individual checkboxes are present. Like this performance module, independent checkboxes, succession planning module, some independent checkboxes, all that you will be having. Even for employee data, employee central relevant. So employee personal information access to be given or not, employment data access to be given or not, like this personal information, talent information, time data, like this various checkboxes you have. So in detail about what permissions mean, what actually, so what for employee data permissions, what checkboxes to be given, for employee promotions and transfers to be performed in the system, what permissions to be given, for leave management, what permissions to be given, like that. Specific things when we start with the respective modules. For employee central, when we are discussing, then the EC related. When we are discussing performance module, performance related. At that point, we will be specifically discussing. As of now, we don't understand all this. What are present here are completely Greek and Latin to you, because we just started our training and we haven't gone into that modules. So here the agenda is to show you how to work on the permissioning. What permissions we select and all, you need not bother as of now. So as of now, for this HR, I'm giving the complete access on the objectives module, the performance module, from the career development module. Like this, I'm just select all permissions, all checkboxes. I'm not as of now concentrating on what permissions to be given. I'm just showing you the process of handling the permissioning in the system. So first is to create the groups and then is to create the roles. So in the process of creation of roles, so user level, you can go to that respective categories, select what all permissions you want. And as of now, in the initial stage, I'm just keeping it as select all and creating everything. So once what all modules level, what all permissions you want, if you have selected and given all the checkboxes, you just click on finish. What all permissions you have selected for these HRs to be given with, they all will be appearing here. Internally, what all checkboxes you have selected, all that list will appear here like this. After that, so that is the second part, permissioning. Then if you go to the third part, this is a place where this role can be given to that groups of users, the granting. So for that granting to happen, if you just click on this add, guys, here on the top, it's the granting group to whom you want to grant it. And at the bottom, it's the target population group on whom these granted users can perform those different permissions that are given. So like that, you have both the places where both groups can be assigned, top and bottom. But the group is something that is required if you want to have something to be given to a specific users. Out of 1,000 employees in this company, I want to give it to only US HRs, only India HRs kind of. I came for creating a group base. But if it is that something is to be given to all the employees in the company, this role whatever we are creating in the background, this role, if this is a all employee role example, then here in this groups, you have default groups. Here at the very bottom, you have everyone as an all employee group. If I select this role, whatever I'm selecting with the permissions in the background, this role will be given to all the employees in the company by default. You need not create a group. Today, how many active employees are there? All of them will be part of this, like that. If this is a role that you want to give it to only HRs in the company, here you have HR managers as a group. All the HRs will automatically be applicable for this. Either it's the Indian HR, US HR, Australia HR, anybody will get this. Similarly, if you want to give it a role to all the managers in this company, you have managers as a group. So all the managers, either he's from Indian business, US business, Australia business, anywhere, he'll be getting it. Like this, we have some standard groups, standard default managers group, employee group, HR group kind of. But we are not with that functionality. If we want a limited grouping, I want US HR separately one group, India HR separately other group kind of, then the process what I've shown you, the creation of groups, we'll do that. Okay. 99% in real time we will get this requirement of creating individual groups only, because companies will have different requirements. They come when they are implementing for different countries, so what permissions they have to give for US HRs, for India HRs, all that will differ for them. So they'll definitely ask us to create separate groups the way how we created. Even if it is a single country project also, if it's an Indian project, they have offices in Chennai, Bangalore and Noida. So Noida level employees HR will be separate, Bangalore employees HR will be separate, Chennai location will be separate. Even like that also they will ask us to break up. So usage of this standard role will be very rare cases. Most of the time, the way how we created a group, we will create them. Okay, but these are also the options I want to show you. Manager, standard managers group, HRs group, every employee group, all that. Other things, once we go deep into the employee central, you'll understand what are these other custom managers and all. Later level you'll understand. Okay, but now I don't want to go with the default group. I want to go with the particular group what I have created. So I'll choose it as permission group in the drop down, and here if I click on select, system will give me an option to see all the available groups in the company system already created. With today's date, whatever I created, if I search, so these are the two groups. So granting group is what I have to select on the top, click on finish. So this group is given here. So US HRs are going to get this role what I'm creating in the background, and on whom they can perform. If it is that these HRs can perform it on all the employees in the company, these US HRs, if you are giving an authorization for the US HRs to handle US, India, Australia, all country employees, then I can directly choose it as target population as everyone. We have a default radio button as everyone. Okay, or else you have a target population as a specific groups. Specific groups is these US HRs can handle the data of their own department employees, granted users department, their own department employees, or their own location employees, their own division employees, like this. Or these permissions you are giving for everybody on their own self record kind of. There are standard groupings here at the bottom also. Complete employees or users department, users his own division employees, his own location employees, or on his own profile kind of, we have this. But my now requirement is not on his own department kind of, on all US employees except HRs. For that, a custom group has been created excluding HRs in the US top population. So for that, we will go for the second checkbox, where same like on the top we clicked on the select button and we selected the group. Here also you can just click on the select button, and in this list if you search with the keywords, your group you created for target group, target US employees comes up, select that. So that is the target population. So here in this group there are 46 HRs, and here there are 202 non-HR US employees. So these all people are going to get access on these all people. By any chance, if the person who is in this group is also part of this group, say, okay, due to any permissioning model that we have designed, the person who is in this group is also part of this group. That means he is getting access on his own record. He can change his own salary, he can do his own promotion, all that. If we have to make sure that that is not happening, as someone just asked me previously, here you have a checkbox. exclude granted user from having access to him or herself. If you just select this checkbox, even by mistake due to any reason, the person who is in this granting group, if he's also part of the target group, so system will make sure that that employee cannot make changes on his own data. If you select this checkbox, single checkbox, exclude granted users from having the permission access to him or herself record. This is also standard functionality as it has directly given, no huge thought process here, just a simple checkbox. That's it. Once you're done with this assignment, click on finish. So with this, at the bottom, at the extreme bottom, if you go, you will have a save button. Just click on save here also. Your permission assignment is done. So creation of groups is in the first place. Next, creation of role. In that role creation process, within the role at the bottom, you will also assign that role to the previously created groups, and that process will be done. So this is the HR role created with that 46 HRs got the access. What all checkboxes we have selected, they have got the access on the remaining 202 employees. Okay, so that is how the permissioning model in SuccessFactors will be made, guys, using the concept of permissions, permission groups and permission roles, where groups, while you are assigning it, standard employee group, manager group, like that you will have it. Okay, apart from that, where in the real time 99% we'll be getting a requirement to create the customer specific groups with location based, country based, department based. They'll have different requirements. For different requirements, different groups we can create, because while you are creating groups, you have all the filters. If you want to filter the employees based on the department in which they are working, location in which they are working, the pay grade of the employees on various parameters, even on their nationality wise also. Here, if you want to see, you have marital status, nationality. On these parameters, various things, you can filter the employees up to you, up to the customer's requirement. Okay, so this is how we create the groups and the roles, and we make the assignment. So what all we have been looking at now till now, so all this is this for this first example of US HRs, US employees and all. The same thing, everything whatever I've been showing you is also documented in this presentation step by step in the further slides. Let me just show you. So here, right from the first step of creating the groups, so where do you navigate in the system? There, what you click on, set user permissions, click on permission groups. There you will just click on create new, so that the pop-up opens where you can select the different filter options and you can filter the people on various parameters, like the screen by screen, how the population will appear, all that is there. So once you're done with your groups, you can have the second step of role creation. So for this, first step of groups is done. Now we are in the role level. So for this role creation, say for that, where do you navigate? Clearly with the navigation. Once you are into that, again, how do you click on this create new button? Guys, sorry, I guess my screen is paused actually. Just give me a second. Let me show you once again. Just give me a second, guys. Yeah. So in this presentation, this way, the permission groups, the first place. So where do we navigate in the system? So where do we select this permission group, set user permissions? So here, when we click on it, how we get this window, next window, that's so that we can click on this create new as a button. When we click on this, how the screen pop-up appears. In that, you can select multiple filter parameters. Using that filters, the way how you can bring your target population, the required set of people in this group. Like this, the way how you can create multiple groups with all these different functions you have, the filter options you have, and then how you can start working on the roles. The second step is roles. So roles level. So first step is the groups done. Second step, role for this example, that is a HR role. So if you want to start creating the role, so where do you navigate for that? Clear navigation mention. So for that, again, you have the manage permission roles as a button. You click on it. Then this create new, you will click. Then in this window, 3 parts, giving the name of the role, clicking on the permission button where the pop-up appears, you'll select the checkboxes, and finally granting, all that window will appear. So when you click on this permission button, user level permissions, admin level permissions, the way how you have 2 categories. Any module you select, that's relevant checkboxes, the way how you get them. And finally, how do you do the granting of these roles to the groups? The third step. So here, sorry, On the first part on the top, it's the granting part, and at the bottom you have the target population. Either you can make use of like this standard managers group, standard HR, standard employees kind of a thing, or if you want to create a custom specific thing, even for that, you can create your groups and select the groups on the top and bottom, granting and the population part, the target part. If you want to exclude the granting user, you can select this checkbox. By mistake, the person who is performing the activity, if he's having access on his own record, to make sure that is not happening, you can just select this checkbox at the bottom. That way, all the steps are in detail documented in this presentation, guys. So today after the session, I'll be sharing you this documentation and even few more PDF exercises, like how to create a group, how to create a role and all. Some PDF exercises also I'll be sharing you. You guys can keep practicing it. Okay, so this way the complete permissioning model will be built in SuccessFactors. It's very easy once we do it hands-on. Whereas with this exercise, once you do it, it's very simple, straightforward. The only point you are required to learn is during that process of selecting that permission checkboxes, in EC what I am required to give, from performance what I am required to give, what checkbox means what is what. When we look into the specific module specific discussions, we'll understand. Here it's the only process is what we saw. Okay, any questions still here?
Yeah, hi, this is Rupa here.
Yeah, Rupa.
I have two questions. How to go and edit roles, because I don't see any edit button on roles.
You will have it just on the extreme right. You have this take action, right? Here, if you see this edit role, copy role, delete role, you have these options.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay. Even
And
groups also same way. Even for groups
Got
also
it.
same way you have it.
And can we assign one grant user to multiple target users?
I not get you. So granting is one group. In that group, if you want to add one person or 100 persons.
I'll take your example. You said US HR will have role for target user as US employees, right?
Yeah.
So what if US HR, just a vague example, US HR will have this permission role for HR and target user will be US employees as well as India employees. Is it possible?
Yeah, you create a group with both US and India employees. In the same group, you have both India and US employees. Create a group with both.
Can we have one grant user and two target users?
That's what I'm saying. You can. The point is, if you create a group with the same both the people, you have one single group, right? You need not go with two groups. Then whatever is your target population, US employees, or if it's India and US employees, you define your target population. So I created a group with only US employees, both US and India employees. In this, I'll choose two countries. So here I'll add two examples. So US as one country, and the target population level I'll also choose India.
Okay, got it, clear.
So now the count will increase. I click on update, 202 plus there are 4 Indian users, total count went to 206.
Got it.
This is one.
Fine.
But I understand your question. You want to have two separate groups also. That can also be done. Like the way how I created US employees, create a separate group for India employees. Only India as a group also you create it separately if you want. Where in the role, the place where we have assigned it, that we have made the assignment, right? So here, the place where we have done this assignment, here you see this grant US HRs are for target US employees. Again, click on add. Here again, add this group. Say that same granting US HR. And at the bottom here, if you have already created a India group, select that group here. Okay.
Got it. Yeah.
That is two assignments. It will show you two separate assignments. Example, randomly I'm selecting some group here, say some admin group. Say example, this is a US employee group. You assign it here. Click on done. So that is two assignments. So US HRs are having on India employees, US HRs are having on US employees. Two granting. This way also you can do it. Okay.
Good. Thank you, answered. Yeah. Thank you.
Any other queries, guys? Excellent. So this is how the permissioning model works here in SuccessFactors system, guys, where SuccessFactors permissioning model is very robust. So you have a granular level control actually. So this is only the model that you learn. When you see that the individual checkboxes, which checkbox will serve for what purpose, you'll get to have the actual understanding of how granular level system has given you. Field level controls SFF has given actually. So this field can be visible, this field cannot be visible, this can be editable, this cannot be editable. So field level controls also SFF has actually given very easy to handle permissioning model with a robust control on the permissions. So that is how it is. And in our session tomorrow, we'll be looking on the look and feel of the system, guys. The way how we can have this customer's logo. On the left hand top you are seeing, on the login page you are seeing. So how can we have the customer's logo updated in the SuccessFactors system? And the look and feel, the theme, the color combination of the system, this blue colored background, what you are seeing. So if this has to be changed with some different colors, okay. And this headings, so if you have this to do section, news section, all these headings in white color, if you want that to be in a different color, when I mouse over on this, a light gray color is getting highlighted here. So if that has to be highlighted with a different color, everything can be actually changed. That is what we call it as a theme of the system, theme. So themes can be changed. We have some standard SuccessFactors themes. We can also develop some themes. How the themes and all look and feel can be handled. The email notifications in the system, how they can be handled. All these various things we'll be looking in our tomorrow's session. Okay. Any other queries before we sign off? Okay. That's it for now, guys. So let's again connect back in the tomorrow's session, same time. Thank you one and all. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.